Good afternoon, LinkedIn friends and YouTube friends. Here is our Lunch and Learn for Monday, March 16th. Hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. Here in Michigan, volatile weather, we're cold again, so we are down in the 30s. So just crazy March. But be that as it may, let's dive right in. We've got 30 minutes to go over our Lunch and Learn. Today, we're going to focus on, one of the areas that gets me really excited, and it's more of the niche. And where I see the industry going right now, I feel like the old adage, the riches will be in the niches. So if I was a new agent, based on our 30-day blueprint for new real estate agents, this would be one of the pillars that I would definitely build my business around. Actually, I do have a significant portion of my business built around first-time home buyers, which is one of the niches that we'll talk about today. But before we go into that, let's recap what we've been over the past few sessions. So we started this a couple of weeks ago. The first session, it's going to be a course that we're doing over a 4-week period. Week 1, we went over insights, the importance of your sphere, and we're going to touch on that in just a second. Social media last week. This week, niches and specializations and generating content for those niches. And then 4, we're going to tie it all together with the digital side of things and what I do. I do webinars teaching people all about first-time homebuyer grants, down payment assistance programs, things like that. I tend to get a pretty low cost per seat doing this. So I'll give you a glimpse behind the scenes in a couple of weeks on that. But that being said, let's jump right into the first week, or first session, I should say. We covered the insights to your sphere of influence and how important it is. I actually feel like this is one area that I missed the boat when I got back into real estate 12 years ago or so. And actually over my whole career, I never did a really good job tightening up my database. I market to it all the time, but I did not get a good information on each one of my customers and maintain that database. So going forward, please make sure not only obviously you get their full name for people, the email address and phone number, but getting their current address is going to be crucial in the near future to build a moat around your sphere of influence. I'm going to say it over and over again. AI is coming. If you stick your head in the sand on this, it will cost you dollar signs. They will pick your database apart if you do not build a moat around it, and having that address, I think, is going to be key. So we also covered short-term, long-term opportunities, things that are available for quick gains. If I was a new agent getting into the market, we talked about asking other agents if you can advertise their listings on Marketplace, maybe even introduce certain down payment assistance or grant programs to the rental area, and how that can light up your DMs on Facebook Marketplace. Be careful though, those DMs, you have to be responsive to it, but it's very, very easy pickings. You take those leads, send them out to a couple of lenders that you pave the way with that can do some of these down payment assistance programs and grants. Without fail, I can say with a high degree of certainty, you will probably pick up a couple of buyers in the next 30 days easily. Session 2, again, strongest, your sphere of influence, okay, and how to create some strength to build a moat around that sphere of influence before AI disruption enters. And like I said, it is on the horizon. So the big boys they've already built the models, and they are already installed in the various AI agents, OpenAI, ChatGPT, Claude, you name it. They are inside there right now. And when I say the big boys, I'm talking about Zillow, I'm talking about Redfin. They are coming, and they are going to go. They've got all that data too. So unless you build some moat around your sphere of influence and introduce some good, highly targeted educational content, it doesn't even have to be relatable to them, but it builds you in their mind, even though you may focus on other areas outside of their area of expertise. You will not only be that general real estate agent, you'll be specialized as well too. So, and then session number 3, we talked about the different platforms social media, very, very hard to compete in. I did get some exposure this week to X. I was really surprised with the demographics that X offers right now, and I think I might be trying that out. So right now for me, the holy grail, and I think for the whole industry, is to try and grab those Gen Ys and Gen Zs, okay? Right now, the average first-time home buyer in the industry pushing 40 years old. That's absolutely insanity. So if you can start hitting that younger demographic, great. So haven't had a ton of success on Instagram, Facebook, but I still post there just to maintain what I have built out so far. Big fan of videos, although the way AI is crashing, some of the slideshow and the way that AI can craft these slideshows, put in some good hooks, content, and set it up and automatically post, absolutely amazing. So I'm certainly leveraging areas in that world as well. Frequency is key. I don't have time, and I don't know too many agents that do have the time to post 100 times a week in order to be effective, but it's not bad to post a few times a week just to maintain the connections, especially with your sphere of influence. Session 4, we went over different techniques. I'm not a huge open house person, but I actually did one last weekend, and I went through the techniques, did it with 2 agents, and scheduled appointments at other listings in the area just so we can take people out. Basically, open houses, we're on stage. So you want to make sure you're interviewing, and you want to make sure you're hustling in the eyeballs of the people coming through. So I always tell people, leverage the zero down lender partnerships. They can sometimes help you with some of these marketing, some of these open houses and other areas. So lots of ways to bring in leads from the first-time homebuyer programs to marketing other agents' listings, things like that. We went over those in detail in the previous 4 sessions. So today, I'm going over the competitive advantage for specialization, okay? In my mind, right now, this is where we're heading. If you want to, first step, build a moat around your sphere of influence, get that. Step number 2, find a niche that you enjoy doing. There are so many niches out there, and people don't even realize it. Niches that have a fair amount of pain associated with them. And that pain, in my mind, is going to give you some security. The more pain, the more difficult it is for AI to step in and disrupt. So keep that clearly in mind going forward. So myself, I actually started about 12 years ago marketing towards the pain points for first-time home buyers and down payment assistance programs. First-time home buyers, finding money, very hard to do, okay? Most people feel like they need to save up. Oddly enough, the vast majority of the population thinks you need 20% down. Can't believe that people still believe that in today's, the way the lending world is today. But I can tell you what they do not know, and they don't know that there's down payment assistance programs and grants that can help people. We're actually creating an app that will be, actually, I think it's up on the Google Play Store now. It's Zero Down Scout. You can actually go out there, play with it, and it will be up on the Apple Store hopefully this week sometime, and then we'll do an unveiling. Stay tuned to my channel on YouTube, LinkedIn, and you'll see where we are launching that. We'll send out some notices over the next couple of days once we get a good handle on the timing of that. But on that app, there are over 3,000 down payment assistance programs available across the country to get people in with very little money out of pocket. So I tend to preach that the money for me is the easy part. So finding money to get into a house is easy if you follow me and you know all the steps that are out there. So that's the niche that I tend to specialize in, is educating first-time home buyers and specifically underserved communities that these programs exist, and then give them all the tools and steps to connect with lenders so they can get in with just a few $1,000s out of pocket. Most of the people that I work with are able to get in with as little as 1% of the purchase price. So $300,000 house, you've got $3,000, chances are I can get you in. Most of these programs are quite lenient. So I also teach people about credit from the credit standpoint, what it takes to qualify for these. I share that with you because, like I said, the riches are going to be in the niches going down the road. So AI will not be able to enter this world as easily as just the generic vanilla, 10%, 20% down buyers, second home purchase, things like that. The push a button, get a mortgage is quickly going to be turning into push a button, buy a house. So I feel like if you want to look at some of the niches out there and become the expert in that space, delivering educational content through different publications, webinars, things like that, you're going to find that you will quickly have a fair amount of inbound leads. And for me, it's all about inbound marketing. I don't like making outbound calls. Used to do it. I mean, it's a good way to cut your teeth and build a thick skin. I totally get that. But the way the industry's going, where I think it's only 95% of the calls don't go through right now. Very easy to get your phone number blocked as spam or scam. So in addition to your emails. So I find that trying to specialize right now, that is 100% the way that I would go. Takes a little while to get these things off the ground. Okay. It could take you, 60, 90 days to start seeing the fruit of your labor in this world, but I can assure you it will be worth it. And there are a lot of niches out there. Let me give you just a small flavor of some of the niches that if I were to start over, what I would consider. Number one, at the top of my list, find a way to tap into seniors. Unbelievable amount of money. Think about it. All the baby boomers out there, the biggest transition of wealth right now is being held by the baby boomers. Okay. Now they are starting to transition. They're being forced from life-altering events to transition from their current housing situations to more assisted living facilities, things like that. And there are a handful of ways to tap into that industry. Okay. So go out to AI, ask it, hey, what are the top 10 ways to stand out in the senior community or with baby boomers in real estate? You'd be shocked with the amount of responses you get with it, and bounce it off the different AI models. Go and take that, get it in ChatGPT, get that nice list, throw it over in Claude, get the answer from Claude, and then throw it back to ChatGPT. Really try to drill down as much as you possibly can. Next one, foreclosures. Foreclosures are on the rise right now. Where they project them next year, I don't know that I can see it going quite that high, but you never know. Okay. So foreclosures is another area that I think is underserved. And if you can give good educational content to help people navigate that world, I feel like you can shine there quite easily. There's always my world, the first-time home buyers. I don't necessarily teach them about home buying webinars because I think that those are everywhere. They're a dime a dozen in my mind. I feel like if you do webinars to the pain points in any of these industries, for me, the pain points are money and credit for first-time home buyers. So I do webinars coaching people on both, how easy it is to tap into these programs and how easy it is to get your credit score up 60 points in 60 days if that's what you require. So the other area, renters. I feel like renters have no path for home ownership. So if you want to focus on renters, another way to introduce value through the different types of programs. Probates. I don't know that there are a lot of people that sell probate leads, but I don't think there is a lot of coaching that goes on inside that world, teaching people how to part with assets in other states, other areas. So fair amount of real estate and low fruit that's actually hanging out there in the probate world. Divorces. I've actually had a person contact me a couple of weeks ago with regards to partnering up and doing divorce webinars. Okay. Most people are getting tripped up in divorces with regards to how the verbiage in divorce decrees works when there's an existing house involved. And the person that reached out to me actually had a solid plan to get people financed that still had mortgages on their credit. And even though the divorce decree said they're not responsible for it, 99% of the lenders will not do it because it still shows up on their credit. There is a workaround for it. that someone has shared with me, and they are working with me to put together a webinar where we can teach attorneys how to work with lenders to work around this. So saves a lot of headaches for attorneys and certainly creates value in that niche. The person that I'm working with has a handful of attorneys that they're working with in Lansing, Michigan, and they do quite well at it, and they're looking to spread their wings and move to other areas. And saw one of my webinars and asked me if I'd be interested in possibly tapping into the technology that I built to educate people and follow up with them on the first-time home buyers and grants and things like that. So very, very happy to take what I have, rebrand it, and pivot in that world. In fact, if anybody is interested in possibly partnering up on any of these items that I'm listening or sharing with you today, I'm always looking for friends across the country that I can share things with, and who knows what we can scale with like-minded minds. So the next one, bankruptcies. We are going to see bankruptcies increase at a very rapid rate. We're starting to see it already. Now, people often look, hey, how do bankruptcies? Well, sometimes we have to sell the houses in the bankruptcies. Okay. Some of the bankruptcies, those people are only going to be down for a couple of years. And you could be that coach that when they rebound can coach them how to get into a house in a relatively short period of time after a bankruptcy. There's also ways for people that are going to Chapter 13 bankruptcy with it. They can still buy a house after making 12 months payments to the trustee. So I feel like there's a educational play that could be there. It's more long-term, but I do like it. And there's a lot of programs that I haven't even thought of. Okay. But actually, I'd welcome a kind of a workshop, which might not be a bad idea. Getting a lot of people online to figure out what type of niches are out there, see what type of educational content that we can automate with AI and put on a lot of people's radars to build business for all of us. So always open for those discussions. Please reach out to me. You can do it through my website to schedule any of those meetings. You can book a call. My website is owntheroof.com. That's OWNTHEROOF.com. So when you go in there, just go under book a call, and great. You'll get a link to my calendar, and always happy to kind of pay it forward and spitball and see what things come out of there. So with regards to the specialization, okay, we went through a list of different topics out there. I think it's important that you break down the profitability of each one of these areas and try to do research and find out how crowded it is. I think you'll find most of the topics that I mentioned today, there's probably no shortage of legal practices that you have to navigate around, but I don't know if there's a lot of educational stuff on the real estate front in any one of those. So I always tell people you want to look and make sure that that industry is going to be profitable. From there, we want to look at, okay, are we looking at more of a geographic play or a demographic play with regards to targeting strategies? Sometimes they're both, okay? Hopefully you're blessed with enough people that need help that you can play both. I always like the geographic just because it plays well with Meta. Some of the other platforms will allow us to drill down on a demographic standpoint. So keep that in mind. Unfortunately, when we do Facebook and Instagram, they're more of a geographic. Okay. So a few of the other platforms still allow us to play with the demographic strategy. So we want to know our numbers before we start throwing money at it. Then we want to look at the framework for selecting your ideal niche. I always tell people, you got to go with something that speaks to you. Okay. Because people can see, you've got to be talking from your heart. People can tell when I'm on these webinars that I'm really here for their best interest. Okay. So like I said, people are smart that way. They can see right through somebody that's just chasing dollar bills versus actually trying to help people up. Okay. So as you're trying to build that framework out, I would actually take it and throw it out into AI. I personally like Claude a lot right now, but Claude knows me inside and out. I upload everything to it. So Claude knows me better than my wife does right now. It's amazing the scripts and things that Claude can spit out, and very easy for me to read because it writes just exactly how I speak when it comes to some of the scripts. So ideally, we want to build a model for that niche using AI, and then ask AI to actually create some success stories for you. Sounds odd, but it will actually come up and give you ideas of solutions. And then you can reverse engineer it and make sure you're addressing the pain to get those leads in the first place. Okay. And then obviously you want to try and have your own success stories too. Now, whether they are AI created or whether they are personal, obviously you'd like to have some personal ones. You want to get some faces in there. You want to get some raving fans that you can create ads with, that you can post. And most importantly, clearly define your niche. Okay. Work out a whole outline and then map it down with a whole plan with regards to the audience. You want to create an avatar. Okay. Find that actual avatar for the end user and use it, and then build a model around that. That's how I did it. And not saying it's perfect, because I'm finding that right now AI is taking what I thought was good and it's making it great. Okay. And it's doing it at a rate that is just mind boggling to me. So, and the way that it is changing how I do business is my head spins. Every day I get a new tool that's tossed at me. And as wonderful as people think Claude and Grok and Gemini and OpenAI are all wonderful, imagine that next step for AI is using all of them at the same time. Crazy thought. So, but there are tools that are just coming out of development that are actually doing that, and they can manage browsers. They can do everything. So I'm very excited for what's out there with regards to building some of these AI agents and sub agents and using the software to do it. So very excited for where things are going. And you know what, I might follow up our whole 30-day course with regards to maybe an open session, just discussing some of the AI tools that have launched over the past 30, 60 days, and how that is going to really lighten the load for agents if they know how to embrace it. So where once you do find this niche, you could possibly automate 95% of it, with the exception of you got to do the webinars and things yourself. At least that's how it works for me right now. So, so that's it for my thoughts for today. Specialization, stand out with niche specialization. So let me see. Let me throw it out there. We've got about 8 minutes left for some questions. Great. Okay, got a question with regards to what am I using for AI, and what do you, okay. So I guess I am pivoting very quickly. Right now, I use Claude the most. I mean, you've heard me mention that a couple of times today. But when I say it gets to know me, I have 2 books that I've written. I've written so many articles. I've done webinars. So what you need to do, and obviously you don't need to go to that extent, but you can actually take your information. I can take my books. I can take my transcripts from my webinars from Zoom. I can take all my emails and threads that I've had with different buyers that over the course of several years. I can take all of that data and upload it to Claude. Actually, I did it several months ago. So that's how Claude knows me better than anyone. So it knows what I can do and what I can't do. Now, Claude stands by itself, okay? There's other technology that has recently launched. And imagine this, if you actually take a separate computer, have an AI bot that's out there that can manage everything. And when it sends the tasks or whatever you're programming it to do, emails, tasks, web browsing, whatever, anything. It's absolutely crazy what can be done. It will disseminate to sub-agents to go out there and do the work for you, whether it's writing an article, sending out a mass text, sending out a mass email, creating the content and sending it out, and working in conjunction with each other. So imagine if you have a number one AI bot, and that bot can send stuff out to sub-agents. One sub-agent might be for doing articles. Another sub-agent might be for managing my inbound SMS messages. Another one might be for managing my webinar database. So each one of these can be managed with different AI solutions. One might be Grok, one might be Gemini, one might, whatever area they shine in. Okay. Now keep in mind, I like Claude the best because I feel like it does 90%. It's in the top 5 or almost every category. Okay. But it may not be the cheapest. And what I mean by the cheapest, when you start scaling this out, you need to start thinking about API solutions and stuff like that, where it becomes expensive. So, but what you can do is you might be able to go to a version of whatever. There's so many AI models out there. There's at least 20. And if you purchase the right tools and equipment that can reach out, suppose I want to scrape a database. Boom, maybe that might be AI 1, 2, 3. And your sub-agent will tap into that database to make sure you're getting the right database there. But you want to take that data and send out broadcast emails or texts. So if that's the case, then you want to make sure that you've got the right solution there. So there is so much technology on the horizon. And I feel like the real estate community is not embracing it nearly as much as they should. But we'll target that a little bit more down the road. So next question. So as far as CRM, I use a CRM called Go High Level. Okay, great tool. Go High Level manages my webinars. It manages my inbound leads, automated texting system. So I actually have not embraced its AI solutions as well as I should, but that's just because there's just not enough hours in the day. So someone's asking, I'd be happy to share exactly what I'm doing on that. Reach out to me. Maybe it's worth doing a workshop showing everybody behind the curtain exactly what I do from a AI solution or from a CRM solution on that model. So, but yes, Go High Level. I actually had a company build it out for me. So very easy for me to take what I've built out, copy and paste. So if my whole website, everything runs through Go High Level, my webinars, my website, all of it. So for me, it would not be too challenging to copy what I have, rebrand it from first-time homebuyer, down payment assistance, or grant money solutions to seniors or foreclosures or probates or divorces. So that was what we came up with the person I'm partnering with to possibly scale the divorce solution area. Now, if any of you are actually looking forward or looking to possibly be that specialist in the down payment assistance or home buying grant solution for first-time home buyers, reach out to me. I'm always looking for some help in other states. So very easily could rebrand what we have in other states and other areas. So always looking for partnerships on that side. Good. Okay, have enough time for one more question. How did I come to first-time home buyers? It was just a passion for me. It amazes me how many first-time home buyer programs from a down payment assistance and grant standpoint are out there and always have been out there. And the mortgage world just does not do a really good job shining a light on them. So that's when I jumped into it. I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm going to address this pain point. I'm going to start shouting from the hills, letting people know that these programs are out there. And then I will connect people with the lenders that actually can get these deals done in whatever area the people live in. So for me, it's usually comes down to geography, where people are with regards to how the programs fit. So I kind of found that. For me, I started running ads on Facebook. Actually, no, it started out on Craigslist. I would run ads to renters. Why rent when with just a couple $1,000 you can buy this home with very little money out of pocket, and your payments will be X lower than what you're probably paying in rent. So that created a tremendous amount of inbound traffic where I was a phone jockey, and that's fine. I mean, that's my highest and best use sometimes, of being a phone jockey. So from there, as Craigslist started to deteriorate, Marketplace took over, and we went over to Marketplace. Marketplace kind of blew up. It wouldn't be uncommon for us to, post. I had a virtual assistant that would post, 5-10 ads a day on Marketplace, and our inbox would, we'd get 100 to 150 DMs a day, and then we just sift through those DMs, finding out where we can introduce value, connect those people with the lenders that can get those DPA programs done. And next thing you know, you've got a pretty big stable of buyers that you can wheel around and get them to purchase with just a few $1,000s out of pocket. So that's kind of how my model went. And then, once I was introduced to the webinar world, I'm like, okay, I don't really need to do the Marketplace ads anymore. So I've abandoned that. Actually, now the way that AI is crashing the industry, I am circling back to possibly start doing those meta ads again, because now I can handle all of it with AI. From maybe not the posting, because meta's really tough to get around when you start using bots for posting. Even if you throttle it back to like a human pace, they're still pretty good at it. But you can get bots to tee everything up, where all you do is you're posting an ad every 10 minutes, just hit a button and the ad posts. So you can kind of throttle it back a little bit, so you don't look like you're a bot as much. And, but just the same, before, for me, it was all about the inbound traffic. I was getting just overwhelmed with phone calls. I just weren't enough hours in a day. Now I can leave them all in the DM world and let the AI bots in the DM world actually search and coach people up, push them to my webinars, push them to different coaching videos, things like that. So AI is so sharp, where it knows everything that I have. It can point them in the right direction of the tools that best fit them at the current moment. And then when they tend to rise a little bit higher or lower in the funnel, we can actually hit them when they raise their hand from that standpoint. So AI is giving us the ability to sift through, way more leads than we used to be able to do on a manual level. So looking forward to that. So we are over the half-hour mark, so I apologize for going over. Any other questions, please do not hesitate to hit me up. Go to my website, book a call. OwnTheRoof.com is the website. Just reach out, book a call right on there, and happy to answer any questions that you have there. We will be picking this up again on Wednesday at noon for our Lunch and Learn. Next Wednesday, we are going to go over the advantage of education first marketing. With everything that I do, it's all about education. We do not sell in that educational world. You attempt to sell in that educational world, people run, okay? We're going to teach you as far as what we're doing, as far as developing content pillars tailored to whatever niche you develop, and how the one-to-many content repurposing for a wider reach. I use videos and repurpose them all the time on the different platforms. Examples of free resources that convert prospects, a ton of those out there right now, only growing as well too, and quick content creation templates for efficiency, and how to produce your first piece of educational content. So AI's out there. As long as you've got your niche drilled down enough and you really know what that pain point is, very easy to do some good piece of educational content that you can post to become that authority in whatever sleeve you're looking to enter into. So anyways, look forward to our next session on Wednesday. Any questions, please reach out to me. Thank you very much for watching today. Hope you all have a great week. Goodbye.